Kisu Gwisna, Kisu Kukit, Kisu Quiet, Kapinishkesh. Hello everyone, welcome to The Wealthy Warrior. I'm your host, Kenshuke Tashmiet, and it is another Wealthy Warrior Wednesdays. It's finally starting to become more sunny here in the Vancouver area, which is beautiful. You know, it's nice to see the sun because we've had a lot of rain showers, but they say, you know, April's showers bring May's flowers, so that's always a good thing to look at. And this podcast, I want to start off with something that all of you love, and that's a story time. So story time. There's his dad, and he went to pick up his daughter from soccer, and as she got into the car, she was crying and sobbing, and she tells her dad, "Dad, I don't want to do soccer anymore. I want to quit. I don't want to play anymore." And the father says, "Okay, you can quit, but only on one condition. And my condition is that you go back tomorrow, play again, and see how you feel." So after a little bit of convincing, the daughter says, "Yes, okay, I will." The next day rolls around. He picks her up, but this time it's a bit different. She's smiling and she's happy. And the father says, "Okay, are you ready to quit today? You know, are we ready to unenroll you from soccer?" And she looks at him like he's crazy. Like, why would I want to unroll? I love soccer. It's fun. You know, I really enjoy it. As in life, you know, sometimes we have a bad moment. We have a bad day, a bad situation, a bad thing with something we are working towards. But if we take some time away from it, come back at it the next day, we will see that that bad moment, that bad experience was just for us to grow. It was a growing experience, and it allows us to see how much we've actually progressed from just that one hard time. And oftentimes people will give up. You know, they'll have a bad moment. They'll have a bad time with something. They'll date someone and they'll get their heart broken. They'll get cheated on. They'll be abused. You know, the relationship won't go like they expected. Or something bad happens in a relationship and they give up. They say, "You know what? I'm never going to date anyone. I'm going to put this wall up around my heart. I'm going to never ever love anyone ever again." Not realizing if they took the time to heal, took the time to look at that experience and get curious and just say, "Hey, what could I have learned from that? What could I have done better? What could I have said to that person? What could I have, you know, done in order to change what happened?" When we get curious like that, that's when the real growth happens. That's when we end up finding someone new, and they're not like that person, because we've given ourselves that chance to feel, to experience, to grow. So if you're one of those people that are stuck on relationships right now saying, I don't want to ever date again, I've had a bad experience, blah blah blah, well, you're not alone. You think you're the only person that has been through that situation like that? No. There has been many people through countless times who have been in that experience before. Heck, I've even been in that experience before. But I didn't allow it to stop me from trying. You never know until you actually try with something. And that's the big thing with people. They expect it to work out the way they wanted it to all the time. And Sadhguru talks about that. And I really enjoy what Sadhguru talks about. He says, do you... I'm gonna slash this the way he says it. He says it a lot different, but the way I understood it was, he says, do you think everything should happen your way for you all the time? And the person says, yeah. And then he says, well, what about me? What about the next person? What about the other person? Wouldn't it be a lot better if things work out a little bit for me, a little bit for you, a little bit for your neighbor, a little bit for your mom, your dad, your sister, people in your community, if it always worked out a little bit for everyone, instead of just always working out for you and being selfish? He doesn't have that selfish part in, but you get the concept, right? When we think everything's supposed to work out only for us, that's coming from a selfish aspect and not understanding that balance. When we can understand, hey, there's enough room for everyone, for it to work out a little bit in their favor, a little bit in the other person's favor, a little bit in my favor, we will start to enjoy that process. You really will. When you understand, hey, it didn't work out for me this time, but it worked out for them. And right now it's playoff hockey season. And I don't know if you are into sports or you know much about hockey or anything about sports, but in all sports, there always has to be a winner and a loser. It's a finite game. There's always going to have to be a winner or a loser. And sometimes it works in a team's favor, sometimes it doesn't. You don't see these players get defeated one year and then just say, that's it. I'm never gonna pick up a hockey stick ever again. I'm never gonna skate on the ice because we got beat in the playoffs. Or we made it all the way to the Stanley Cup. We made it to Game 7, but we lost. You know what? I give up on this hockey thing. It's not worth it. So it's not for me. I might as well just let someone else do it. It's worth for them. No, you don't see hockey players doing that. You don't see football players doing that. You don't see anyone with that athletic mind set that does that, because they understand that failure is what got them there. Failure is what allows them to grow. And if we want to bring stats out with sports, do you know that 70% of the time baseball players, MLB players, fail? They miss. They don't hit the ball. 70% of the time they're failing. Like, look at the greats. Some of these greats, like that was Babe Ruth. He failed like over 70% of his attempts to hit. Look at Kobe Bryant. Look at how many shots he missed. Look at Michael Jordan when he won all the way to the finals and lost. You know, you ever hear his story on how he was sitting in the back of that bus crying, and he was trying to blame everyone on that team. But then he had a realization saying, hey, it was my fault. You know, I should have been better. I should have done this. I should have done that. And he took accountability on that. And the next year, do you know what happened? They came back and they won. And then he ended up winning not just that year, but years after that, because of that failure, of him having to feel that pain of being so close to victory, but losing. Sometimes losing is the greatest thing that could ever happen to us. You know, you learn more from losing and failing than you ever do winning. And I've failed countless times in my life. I fail all the time. But that doesn't stop me. You know, I post content. I misspell a word. Whoops. What do? Move forward. Post more content. Same thing with my YouTube channel. You know, I was posting a song that I really loved, but it just kept getting copyrighted, and I would have to sit there and spend the time to try to jump through the hoops of YouTube so I could get uncopyrighted. So what did I do? I just changed the song, you know? That's what we do in life. We learn, we adapt, we grow. You know, if you ever seen water that's stagnant, what does it look like? Stagnant water is swamp water. I don't know if you've ever been near a swamp, but it stinks. Swamps stink. There's no way around it. You know, even stagnant water that, you say, you've ever been around a river, and when the water gets high, and then it starts to go back down in the summer, there's pools of water that get stuck in these parts of the river. And when you go and look in that water, it's just murky and it's gross and it's stagnant water. That's the same thing with you. If you become stagnant, you might stink. Just kidding, I don't know. But you won't feel good. You know, being stagnant, you don't feel good. You know, the only way you're going to feel good is if you start progressing and learning and growing and trying. So if you're someone who is struggling with the relationship thing right now, just be, hey, that relationship didn't work out. Cool. Maybe we can work on ourselves and meet someone new so we don't meet the same person. Or if we start out on a hobby, we mess up. Cool. Pick yourself up, try again. And then try again. And then try again. That's what it's about. Like this very first story that I talked about with that story time. Because yeah, you may want to quit in the moment, but then you come back the next day and you're like, hey, this isn't so bad. This isn't actually. I kind of enjoy it. You know, I kind of inspired by it. It's kind of making me more motivated to keep doing it. Don't always react off your emotions. Because when we react off our emotions, it's never good. Trust me, I've been there like countless times. I'm going to do it again. I know I'm going to react from my emotions, but I know when I react from my emotions most times, it's not what I actually mean. It's not the true intentions that I mean. Truly. It's just because our emotions are our emotions. You know, nothing has a meaning until we attach an emotion to it. So one day I can attach a meaning to the situation, and then the next day I'll attach a totally different meaning to it. You know, there's some days I really, really am looking forward to working out and hitting the gym, And then there's some days where I'm just struggling to get there, where I just don't want to do it. Like I'm trying to tell myself, hey, tomorrow we can go. You know, you've worked out pretty hard before, yesterday, in this last couple weeks. You deserve that break. But I know from that discipline that I've created that I'm going to feel good after that workout. Sometimes I'll actually feel good during that workout. Sometimes I don't. It's not all the times I do. I'll feel good in between that workout. Sometimes I'm dreading being there the whole time. But at the very end of it, when I'm done and I'm just tired and I'm sweaty and I feel great. You know, I feel like I have accomplished something. So don't give up right away. Try it again. You know, come back at it with a new clean slate. And then if you don't like it, try it one more time. And if you still feel the same way, well then at least you attempted it. At least you tried. At least you knew it wasn't for you. And that's okay. That's good. You know, that's what life is about. Life is about accumulating experiences and growing and moving forward with life, progressing. Can't stay stagnant forever, or you'll start to stink. So with that, I hope you got something from this episode. If so, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you're actually working on right now, what your goals are. I've already hit 2 of my major goals this year. I wanted to, one of them was to be able to squat 405, which I did. And my other one was to get monetized on YouTube, what I did. And that didn't happen overnight. That took consistent work. So let me know what your goals are, what you're working towards this year. I'm looking forward to actually reading what you have to say. So Sukani for the support. Sukani for tuning in. I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, all my wealthy warriors. And remember, everything always happens for the right reasons. Take care.